You've been crying for help, but every time Archangel Michael sends you a message, you walk away. Yes, you do. This one holds the answer. Do not ignore it again. There are cries that echo in the night, cries that are not heard by human ears but ring loud in the heavens. You know the ones. The whispered sobs into your pillow. The silent prayers uttered while staring into nothing. The desperate why screamed inside your spirit when no one else is around. Night after night, the cries have gone up like smoke, and it has felt, for far too long, like no one is listening. You begged for answers, pleaded for signs, demanded clarity. And in those moments when your soul trembled with the weight of waiting, heaven did respond. Not once, not twice, but again and again, divine messages were sent. A scripture that stirred your spirit, a dream that lingered in the morning, a word from someone who didn't even know your situation, yet spoke directly to your heart. But you dismissed it, wished it aside, thought, it can't be for me. You walked away. Yes, you did. But I, Archangel Michael, have not walked away from you. I am the guardian of divine instruction, and my sword does not dull when the battle grows long. This message, this very one, is not like the others. This is not one more post, one more video, one more word you scroll past and forget. This is the message, the one you cannot afford to ignore. The heavens are pressing in now because the window is narrowing. The war is intensifying. The shift is unfolding. And you, weary one, you chosen one, you are standing in the middle of it all. Not everyone is supposed to hear this. This word has been marked for the remnant, those who have not bowed, though they feel broken, those who have not given up, though they have grown quiet. You are not forsaken, but you must understand, the instruction now requires silence. It requires obedience. It requires listening with your spirit, not your emotions. If you want the full revelation, you must lay down your reasoning and let the Spirit speak. Do not ignore this again. Type I receive in the comments if your spirit knows this word is for you. Blessing code 1717 is now open above your head. Listen closely, for I, Archangel Michael, speak now, not as a myth, not as a symbol, but as heaven's appointed guardian of divine order and protector of the chosen. I do not arrive with empty words. I do not move unless the Father commands. And today, I have been sent on assignment to reach you, the one whose soul has been battered, whose strength has grown thin, and whose prayers have felt like whispers against a hurricane. There is a war that has been raging behind the veil. A war not of flesh and blood, but of spirit and principalities. You have felt the tremors of it in your sleep. You've noticed the strange heaviness before waking. You've sensed the moments when time itself felt paused, when a thought, a word, a warning nudged you to stop and listen, but you brushed it aside. And yet, heaven persisted. You thought the interruptions were random. The dreams, the urges to pray at 2 a.m., the moments when your heart raced without cause. But I tell you this, every moment was strategic. Every nudge was a divine interruption. But each time you walked away. Yes, you did. You reasoned with your flesh instead of responding with your spirit. You shrugged off the signals, believing they were coincidences. But nothing is coincidence for the call. Now hear me. This is not just another message. This is your confirmation. This is your line in the sand. This is the final warning before the shift begins. You've cried out for signs. You begged God to speak. You've asked for evidence that you are not alone. And now, by divine appointment, this word has reached your ears. By the time this day closes, a confirmation will follow this message. A sign will manifest. A conversation, a name, a moment of piercing clarity, something that cannot be dismissed. Something that tells you, heaven heard, heaven sees, heaven is near. But it will only come if you stop walking away. Not everyone will receive this. Not everyone is ready. Not everyone wants to hear what heaven is saying, because what heaven says requires surrender. If you are still listening, if your spirit hasn't scrolled away, then you have been chosen to hear this, because heaven insists. You are the remnant that must rise. You are the one who was marked before time. You are the one the enemy tried to drown in confusion and fatigue. But you were preserved for this moment. This is your invocation. You are not called to survive. You are called to command. Called to intercede. Called to shift atmospheres. You were crying because something in you knew there had to be more. And you were right. But that more doesn't come with emotion, it comes with obedience. This is your awakening. This is your confirmation. This is your moment of divine intersection. Now stand in your spirit. Lift your eyes. Ready your soul. Because from this moment forward, you will never be the same. Type I am ready in the comments if this is striking your spirit. Blessing code 2020 is activating over your atmosphere. They never told you why they stopped calling. They never explained why the door suddenly closed. The betrayal didn't come with warning, only silence. Conversations faded. Trust dissolved. People you once prayed with, dreamed with, bled with, they turned cold. And you sat there, bewildered, trying to trace back your steps to understand what you did wrong. But child of God, you did nothing wrong. The disruption was not punishment. It was prophecy unfolding. There are watchers assigned to you, not just by heaven, but also by hell. There are those who monitor your steps, not because they support you, but because they sense something about you that they can't explain. The spiritual realm recognizes what even you have doubted, that you are marked, that your voice shakes the air, that your presence shifts the environment, that you are not ordinary, even when you feel broken. Some of the strangest patterns in your life have not been random. They have been evidence of spiritual sabotage. The sudden losses, the deals that fell through at the last minute, the friends who loved you one day and ghosted you the next, the phone that rang at the exact moment you were about to pray, the unexpected migraines when you were ready to fast, the constant emotional fog, confusion, and the feeling of being off course even though you're trying to do everything right. These are not coincidences. These are assignments against your clarity. Someone has whispered about you in rooms you weren't invited to. You've been misunderstood, mislabeled, and even lied on. But listen carefully. They only see the edge of what you carry. They know something, but not everything. That is why they fear you. That is why they seek to delay you. That is why they try to disrupt your emotions. Because if you ever got fully aligned with heaven's voice, if you ever said yes without fear or hesitation, you would become unstoppable. There is a mystery swirling around you, and that mystery has made you a target. The enemy doesn't just attack what is weak. He attacks what is rising. And though you've been crying out for help, you have also been stepping into a deeper authority without even realizing it. Your discomfort has not been in vain. It has been the stretching of your mantle. But the problem is this. You've been asking God for rescue, not realizing that heaven was developing your resilience. You are not being ignored. You are being watched by angels and tested by darkness. And now comes the moment where you must stop seeking emotional comfort and start walking in spiritual clarity. This is the message that explains the confusion. This is the reason the attacks got worse after every prayer. This is the insight that breaks the fog. Your name is known in hell, and that's why your life has felt like a battlefield. But let me tell you what hell cannot do. Hell cannot stop your calling. Hell cannot erase your anointing. Hell cannot delay what heaven has already scheduled. Unless you walk away again. Unless you stop listening. Unless you keep ignoring the instructions. The war you're feeling isn't just around you. It's against the voice within you. And today, the heavens are exposing the whispers, the watchers, and the warfare so that you no longer confuse sabotage with failure. You have not failed. You've simply been fighting unseen. And now the light has come. Type "I see" clearly in the comments if the veil is lifting from your life. Blessing code 3131 has been activated. The cloud is breaking. And if this word has stirred something in your spirit, if it's lifted the veil and exposed the battles you couldn't name, then hear this. You are not just being blessed. You are being called to help others break free, too. Every time you support this mission, you help ignite spiritual awakenings in people who are still wandering in silence. This isn't about helping us. This is about helping souls. When you sow into this word, whether through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or PayPal, you are fueling the fire that snatches lives from deception. The link to give is in the video description, and the impact of your obedience is eternal. For the word declares in 2 Corinthians 9:10, He who supplies seed to the sower will increase your store of seed and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. The moment you feel led to give is not random, it's prophetic. And those who obey will see divine return. 5 for 5. I heard the Spirit say, bless every giver with swift confirmation. So give with boldness, and receive with open hands. Now go. Be the reason someone else hears the message you almost missed. Let me know when you're ready for section Roman 4, spiritual framing of conflict, and I'll continue, raising the prophetic temperature even higher. You have wept in frustration, believing your cries were met with silence. You've waited for answers and heard nothing but stillness. You fasted, prayed, pleaded, and yet, doors remain shut, voices remain quiet, and help seemed distant. But now hear me clearly, heaven was not ignoring you. It was measuring you. The silence was not abandonment. It was strategy. It was spiritual architecture unfolding behind the veil. I, Archangel Michael, reveal this truth to you now because the hour demands understanding. What felt like delay was not punishment, but with placement. What you called unanswered prayer, heaven called a proving ground. The battlefield was not always outside of you. It was within you, testing your endurance, your response to silence, your posture when nothing made sense. Heaven was watching not your volume, but your alignment. Not your performance, but your posture. Not how loud you shouted, but how still you waited. Your cries were never ignored. They were weighed. Every tear, every whisper, every sigh in the night was catalogued in the throne room. But answers were delayed because heaven was forming a vessel strong enough to carry the weight of the promise. It was not that you were not ready for the blessing. It was that the blessing needed you to become someone who would not fumble it. This is what you must understand. The enemy was not just trying to destroy you. He was trying to agitate you into aborting your own preparation. That's why the silence became deafening. That's why the people you thought would help didn't. That's why the prophecy seemed further away the more you obeyed. Because the test was not whether you could believe when things were loud. The test was whether you could stay faithful when everything went quiet. And this is where I must correct you. Beloved, heaven did send messages, but you didn't always recognize them. You were waiting for thunder, but the Spirit whispered. You were looking for signs in the sky, but heaven sent them through strangers, scriptures, sudden thoughts, and sacred interruptions. But in your exhaustion, in your weariness, you walked away. You brushed it off. You missed it. But I tell you now, you have not missed everything. You may have walked away from a message, but the assignment has circled back. The word has come again. The instructions have returned. And this time, you are not being called to strive. You are being called to receive. In stillness. In silence. In surrender. Because the real conflict isn't external. It's spiritual. Your name is being spoken in realms unseen. You've been asking, why do I feel heavy when nothing is wrong? Or why am I so tired when I haven't even done much? Because you're carrying warfare in your spirit, not your schedule. Heaven has been preparing you for a role far greater than what you currently understand. And the enemy knows if he can keep you confused about the silence, he can distract you from the instruction. But not this time. This time, you will discern. You will pause. You will pray. And when heaven speaks again, and it will, you will not walk away. Understand this clearly. You are not under punishment. You are under preparation. And the silence you've endured was not empty. It was sacred. Heaven was teaching you the weight of quiet authority, the kind that doesn't need applause, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be heard. Because when you walk in alignment, even hell must listen. So lift your head, chosen one. You were never forsaken. You were being formed. You were never forgotten. You were being fashioned. And now, your spirit knows it. This is not just another message. This is your alignment. This is your moment. This is your shift. Type ITICM being prepared in the comments if this hits your spirit. Blessing code 888 is breaking open delayed understanding and releasing divine awareness. Yours a stirring in the realm of the spirit. A tremble. A tension. A tipping point. Heaven sees it. Hell senses it. And your spirit hath been picking it up in fragments, in the sudden anxiety, in the feeling that something is near, though you cannot explain it. That's not paranoia. That's prophetic sensitivity. That's the alarm of the spirit sounding inside of you, warning you that something is moving in the natural realm. Something is preparing to break. Now hear me. I am Archangel Michael, and I come to you not with suggestion, but with divine alert. There is a shift occurring. There is an individual, someone close, someone familiar, someone whose name you've spoken in trust, who is being stirred by the adversary to confront, accuse, or betray. Their face may look calm. Your voice may still speak peace. But beneath the surface there is agitation, bitterness, resentment. The enemy is whispering to them about you, and they are listening. You must not fear, but you must be alert. Because what is coming is not just a conversation, it is a confrontation, designed to knock you off balance and out of alignment. It is not simply about what is said, it is about what it steals. Peace, confidence, verity. If the enemy can't destroy you, he will distract you. If he can't push you off the path, he will provoke you to step off it yourself. I have come to tell you that this next move is time sensitive. It is already forming, and within the next 72 hours, there will be confirmation. You will see something, hear something, feel something. A moment will occur, and you will know, this is what heaven warned me about. Do not react in the flesh. Do not argue. Do not defend. Because this is not about proving your innocence. It's about preserving your positioning. You have been praying for the breakthrough, but the enemy has been preparing an ambush. This is why the pressure has increased. This is why your thoughts have been spiraling. Because what's coming is not accidental. It is intentional spiritual warfare disguised as earthly frustration. The phone call, the message, the unexpected encounter, the emotional trigger. It's all part of a larger plot to make you lose your footing right before you cross over. But listen to me now. What the enemy thinks is a setup, heaven has already marked as a stepping stone. The enemy has misread your silence. He thought you were defeated. He thought you were broken. He mistook your stillness for surrender. But heaven recorded it as strength. Your silence was not weakness. It was warfare. Every moment you didn't retaliate, every word you didn't speak, every reaction you withheld was seen. And now, the scales are tipping in your favor. Let be warned. This is a fragile moment. This is not the time to be careless with your words or reckless with your emotions. Stay in the Spirit. Walk in wisdom. Be quick to hear and slow to speak. Because while the enemy is preparing an earthly move, heaven is planning a spiritual promotion. The next 3 days will determine what gets unlocked in your next season. So do not allow offense to steal what you've waited for. Do not allow pride to cost you access. This battle will not be won by argument. It will be won by alignment. Stand still. Be unmoved. Heaven fights for those who do not fight in the flesh. You are not being overlooked. You are being watched. And this moment will reveal whether you are ready to carry what you've cried for. Type "I will not miss this moment" in the comments if your spirit is alert. Lesson code 4444 is covering you in divine defense and prophetic awareness. Be still now, chosen one. Still your mind. Still your emotions. Still the urge to speak before understanding. You are in the middle of something sacred. And the next steps are not about doing more. They are about discerning more. Heaven is not asking you to fight. Heaven is commanding you to stand. This is not the season to defend yourself in the flesh. This is not the moment to chase explanations or seek revenge. This is the season to retreat into the presence of God and let the hosts of heaven do what they were sent to do. I, Archangel Michael, have drawn my sword not for display but for protection. You have asked heaven to protect you. Now heaven is asking you to follow its divine strategy. Not with impulsive decisions, not with emotional reactions, but with sacred stillness, with holy silence. Because when you choose to war in the Spirit, heaven chooses to war on your behalf. Let me speak plainly. You are surrounded right now, yes, surrounded by rumors, by uncertainty, by invisible warfare, but more importantly, you are surrounded by angels. There is no corner of your life unprotected. Every move of the enemy has already been anticipated. Every attack has already been countered. But the activation of that divine defense requires your participation, not through effort, but through obedience. You must not respond the way they expect. You must not behave the way you used to. You must not return to the place of panic. You are not being told to do nothing. You are being told to do the right thing, to align, away, to trust, and to allow the battle to unfold above your understanding. Because what's happening now is far deeper than what's visible. The spiritual tension you're feeling is because heaven has issued a protective order over your name. The enemy knows he cannot touch you, so he will try to lure you out of position. With frustration, with offense, with fear. And I fall for it. If you stay still, you will see what others miss. If you remain quiet, you will hear what others overlook. If you hold your peace, heaven will release its war strategy. This moment is not about noise. It's about precision. You must walk carefully. You must pray consistently. You must watch silently. Because one wrong reaction can delay what has already been delivered in the Spirit. Lift your hands in surrender, not as a sign of weakness but as a signal of trust. You do not need to make announcements. You do not need to post your pain. You do not need to convince anyone of your truth. Heaven knows. Heaven has seen. And heaven has already declared, no scheme formed against you will prosper. No tongue will rise against you without judgment. That is not pokery. That is prophecy. That is your portion. I've seen the traps being laid in secret conversations. I've seen the texts sent behind your back. I've seen the gatherings of those who wear smiles but plot in shadows. And I tell you now, none of it will touch you, if you stay under divine instruction. If you abide in the shelter of the Most High, the plans of the wicked will dissolve before they manifest. But step outside the instruction and you give them access. Not because God has left you, but because you have left the covering. So hear this clearly, beloved. You are under watch. You are under protection. And this is your moment to trust more than ever before. Stop trying to figure it all out. Stop trying to fight battles you were never assigned to. Heaven fights for those who know how to keep their mouth closed and their spirit open. When you do not argue in the flesh, angels speak for you in the spirit. You are not alone. You are not vulnerable. You are not unguarded. You are wrapped in light, shielded by the word, and backed by the throne. Type I am covered in the comments if this word is settling your soul. Blessing code 5544 is now surrounding your life like fire. Now rise. Wipe your face. Straighten your posture. Breathe in, and let the weight of your past breathe out. because you are not the same person who cried out in that dark night. You are not the same soul who sat in silence begging heaven to notice you. Something in you shifted while you waited. Something changed in you while you held your peace. While you thought you were breaking, you were becoming. Heaven was not only defending you, it was transforming you. I, Archangel Michael, have watched as the fire surrounded you. I have seen you walk through the smoke of affliction, and what I declare now is truth. You have come out of the furnace with something the fire could not destroy. You came out with wings. Not the fragile kind, but wings forged in warfare. Wings that rise above accusation. Wings that carry you into divine appointments. You have been in hiding, yes. But what hid you also healed you. Do not look in the mirror and see only weakness. Do not replay the tears and forget the triumph. Every weeping moment was heaven's whisper, hold on. I'm building something in you they won't see coming. And now, the ones who thought you were finished will be confused by your rising. Because what the enemy hoped would break you, God used to brand you. There is oil on your life that only fire could release. You are no longer a victim. You are no longer waiting for someone to rescue you. Because rescue came the moment you stopped striving and started surrendering. You shifted, and that shift has made you dangerous to the darkness. That's why the attacks have increased. That's why the warfare got personal. Hell doesn't intensify unless heaven is about to elevate. You are walking in power now, power that does not need applause to be real, power that does not need visibility to be valid. Your wings are not for show, they are for flight. And now, you must fly, not to escape, but to rise. Rise above the opinions. Rise above the slander. Rise above the inner voice that still tries to tell you that you're not enough, that you're unworthy, that your mistakes disqualified you. No, you've been qualified by the fire. Your endurance has been noticed in the heavens. Your name has been whispered in the courts of angels. And what is coming to you now is not a reward. It is a recognition of what's already in you. You were never meant to stay in the posture of a beggar. You are not pleading for what is already yours. You are walking into what's been reserved for you. There is a warrior emerging, not because you fought harder, but because you surrendered deeper. And now, the strength you carry is not of man, but of God. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify it. You just need to walk in it. Speak what heaven says speak. Move what heaven says move. Trust the shift. Trust the wings. Trust the anointing that others can't see but will soon feel. You are not the same. And that is the evidence of heaven's hand on your life. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You were chosen before you were even formed. And everything you've walked through was the pressing that made the oil flow. So rise, mighty one. Lift your head. Lift your vision. There's no more room for shame. There's no more space for fear. You are standing in your assignment. Type I have shifted in the comments if you feel the transformation in your spirit. Blessing code 7171 is now releasing the wings of ascension and the fire of clarity over your life. Now hear what the Spirit says. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The moment when the heavens unveil the mystery. The moment when the silence finally speaks. You thought God was ignoring you. You thought heaven had been quiet on your pain. But now the veil is being torn. Now the revelation is being poured. This is the message that shifts everything. This is the word that turns pain into power and delay into destiny. I, Archangel Michael, have not come to comfort your flesh. I have come to awaken your spirit, to lift the blindfold of confusion, to reveal what your tears could not understand. And here it is. The waiting was never about punishment. The silence was not rejection. The unanswered cries were not neglect. They were divine preparation. They were the sacred pause before the prophetic release. The wilderness you walked through wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to hide you. You were not being left behind. You were being kept under divine cover. Heaven was grooming you in secret because what you carry cannot be exposed prematurely. The blessing that's coming, yes, the one you've prayed for, the one you've begged for, requires strength to sustain. And so the Father said, hold the answer until they're ready. But now the answer has come. The instruction has returned. The moment is unlocked. Because something in you shifted. Something in you surrendered. And now heaven can say, they're ready. Ready to carry what the old version of you would have dropped. Ready to walk in what your former self would have sabotaged. Ready to receive without retreating. Ready to hold the weight of what's been waiting. And here is the prophetic revelation. Your name has been recorded. Your name has been spoken in the councils of heaven. Your obedience in secret has triggered a public reward. The tables are turning. The season is shifting. And this word, this very message, is heaven's notification that the delay has lifted, that the process has completed, that the time has come. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not invisible to God. You are seen. You are selected. You are sealed. And every tear you cried, every night you whispered, God, do you even hear me? Was caught in a vial and brought before the throne. Not one was wasted. Not one was ignored. Heaven recorded every cry as a declaration, every sigh as a petition, every moment of silence as worship. And now the decree is being released. It is time. Time for the chains to break. Time for the doors to open. Time for the tables to turn. Time for the blessing to manifest. Time for your name to be called forward. This is not just a prophetic word. This is a divine release notice. You've been under development, but now heaven is unveiling you. You've been quieted, but now heaven is amplifying you. You've been in waiting, but now heaven is announcing. Now they rise. So receive it. Don't resist it. Don't reason it away. Don't walk away again. This is the word that holds the answer. This is the moment you were crying for. The heavens have spoken. The oil is flowing. And your time is now. Type I receive my release in the comments if this prophetic word has found you. Blessing code 9999 is now unlocking the heavens and pouring favor over your name. If this prophetic word has revealed the truth behind your delays, if your spirit is trembling under the weight of recognition that this is the message you were crying for, then I invite you to help carry this fire into the lives of others who are still waiting in silence. Every time you support this mission, through a super thanks, membership, or PayPal donation, you become a vessel that pushes light into dark places. This is not about helping a platform. This is about healing a people. When you give, you sow into soul recovery. You put man in front of the weary. The PayPal link is in the video description. And yes, your gift is seen by us and by heaven. God declares in Proverbs 11:25, "Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." So let your giving become warfare. Let your seed become rescue. Let your obedience open up the same release for someone else. And to every person who gives, I release a divine reversal and supernatural clarity over your life. Move now. Heaven is moving with you. Now that the word has come forth, now that the silence has been broken, there is only one thing heaven is waiting on: your response. Yes, yours. Not just an emotional reaction, not just tears of confirmation, not just a comment under a video, but alignment, action, obedience. This is the moment where your destiny demands movement. Not later, not tomorrow. Out. I, Archangel Michael, speak this with authority from the throne. Your next season is waiting on your yes. And this is not the soft, hesitant yes you whispered in past seasons. The one entangled with fear, with doubt, with delay. No. This is the bold, unshakable, destiny-shifting yes that unlocks the next chapter of your assignment. The kind of yes that terrifies hell and makes heaven rise to attention. You spent enough time wondering when the shift will come. But the truth is, heaven has already shifted. It's your turn now. The weight of glory hovering over your life cannot be held up by indecision. The promise is prepared, but the gate will not open to hesitation. It opens to surrender, to obedience, to the one who says, even if I don't understand it all, I choose to move. You have asked God to send clarity, but clarity is not always delivered in full before the first step. Some doors only open when your foot moves toward them. Some blessings only descend when your heart chooses alignment. Some breakthroughs only manifest when obedience is louder than fear. This is that time. This is your activation hour. Do not think for a second that your yes is small. Every act of surrender is spiritual thunder. Every moment of obedience sends a shockwave through realms you cannot see. Hell fears the person who doesn't just receive the word, but walks it out. And today, you are being called to walk, not in confusion, not in emotion, but in conviction. Declare it now. I will not delay. Because delay is not neutral. It is dangerous. Delay invites doubt. Delay feeds confusion. Delay gives the enemy time to whisper lies into the cracks of your calling. You delayed long enough. You walked away before. You refused the instruction. You said maybe later. Maybe after confirmation. But beloved, this is your confirmation. This is the answer. This is the moment. Heaven is watching. Not just your prayers, but your patterns. Not just your hunger, but your habits. And right now, the gates of divine opportunity are open. But only obedience will let you pass through. God is not just offering a promise. He's requiring a response. Speak it. Declare it. Activate it. You were not just called to survive. You were not just called to weep and worship. You were called to move, to build, to create, to release, to step into environments and shift them, to walk into rooms and carry the weight of divine purpose on your shoulders. You've been anointed for more than tears. You've been trained through trials for action. So rise up now. This is your moment of initiation. This is the unlocking of divine permission. The pain shaped you. The silence refined you. The message found you. And now the choice is yours. Will you move? Let the enemy know you're no longer passive. Let the spirit realm hear your yes. Let heaven record your surrender. Not just in words, but in what you do next. This is not about hype. It's about heavenly order. You were born for this. Called for this. Chosen for this. And now you must say it and do it. Type yes, Lord. I align in the comments if you receive this word into action. Lesson code 4114 is unlocking doors tied to your obedience. There is more happening around you than your eyes can see. More moving, more shifting, more negotiating in the heavens than your ears have heard. Even now, even as you sit in this moment, heaven is busy. The spirit realm is not still. Angels have been dispatched. Words have been weighed. Assignments have been issued. There is a divine exchange taking place in silence. While you were weeping, heaven was working. While you were sleeping, heaven was speaking. I am Archangel Michael, sent not only to defend, but to deliver insight to the chosen. You must understand, your journey has not been ignored. Your pain has not passed unnoticed. Every cry, every groan, every deep sigh from your spirit has been collected and brought before the courts of heaven. And there, in the throne room, intercession has turned into transaction. Yes, transaction, because the kingdom does not just hear prayers, it responds with divine movement. While you cried, angels recorded. While you fasted, angels ascended. While you held your peace, I stood on the front lines with a sword drawn on your behalf. Every sacrifice you made was a sound in heaven. Every act of obedience was a spiritual currency. And now, heaven is responding with exchange. Beauty for ashes, clarity for confusion, strength for weariness. But this exchange happens first in the spirit before it ever reaches the natural. There are documents being stamped with your name in the spirit. Promises that were delayed due to immaturity or timing are now being reissued because you stayed, because you didn't quit, because you finally listened. There is an echo going out in the heavenlies. Reassign the promise. They're ready. That's why you've been feeling the stir. That's why your sleep hath been uneasy. That's why your spirit has felt like it's vibrating inside your body. Because heaven has started the release. And now the spiritual realm is aligning to bring the promise to your front door. You thought nothing was changing, but the truth is everything has changed. But the change began where you couldn't see it. In the high places, there are angelic hosts negotiating on your behalf. There are accusations being dismissed. There are verdicts being overturned. There are assignments being accelerated. What you thought was delayed was actually being discussed in rooms your feet have never entered, but your name has. I say to you now, what was stolen is already on its way back to you. Yes, your joy, your clarity, your favor, your anointing, your confidence, it's not being given as new. It's being returned. For the enemy trespassed, the accuser overreached, and heaven has declared repayment, the kind that doesn't just restore but multiplies. The kind of repayment that makes the years of pain look like seed compared to the harvest. This is why you've been under such pressure. The enemy sensed the exchange was happening. He felt the rumble in the spirit and tried to confuse your mind before the blessing could manifest. But what he failed to understand is this: you finally didn't walk away. And that one decision, staying when it hurt, listening when it was silent, shifted the scales. So now, walk in confidence. Not because you see it yet, but because it's already done in the realm that governs all things. What happens in the natural is simply the echo of the spiritual decree. You don't need to strive. You don't need to chase. You need to align. Because what's already yours is coming to find you. Tevet has moved. The documents are signed. The seal is broken. And what was once withheld is now in active dispatch. Type "I receive the exchange" in the comments if your spirit knows this is true. Blessing code 8181 is now activating divine transfer into your atmosphere. Now comes the part that hell never wanted you to reach. The moment where heaven steps in, not just to heal, but to reverse. Not just to comfort, but to avenge. Not just to restore, but to overturn and overwhelm with justice. For the Lord is not only your shepherd, He is also your judge, your warrior, and your vindicator. I, Archangel Michael, declare this to your spirit with fire. Spiritual justice hath been initiated. What was done in darkness is being dragged into the light. What was said behind closed doors is being overturned by declarations from the courts of heaven. The lies spoken against you, those whispered conversations, the subtle slander, the manipulation, they did not go unnoticed. You didn't need to defend yourself, because the King took your case personally. Every betrayal, every rejection, every crooked plan hath been weighed by eternal scales. And now, the balance is shifting. Heaven is balancing the scales in your favor. What others tried to strip from you will be returned in double. What they thought they buried was actually planted, and now, your harvest has begun to sprout in a field they cannot touch. I have watched them point fingers. I have seen them smirk while you wept. I have stood beside you when you almost spoke up, almost fought back, almost exposed what you knew. What you didn't. You held your peace. You surrendered to silence. And now the word is being fulfilled. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Because of your restraint, justice is no longer pending. It is now active. And let me speak this with holy boldness. Every word spoken against you will return to the sender tenfold. Not by your hands. Not through vengeance. But through divine reversal. What was spoken to curse you will now become a platform to bless you. What was stolen will be multiplied. What was mocked will be magnified. And those who thought they were watching your demise will now witness your divine promotion. You don't need to explain what's happening. You don't need to justify your next level. All of it had been divinely ordered. The enemy thought he had the final word, but he did not expect the divine reversal. He did not expect heaven to vindicate you publicly. He underestimated the magnitude of your obedience. And now, the sword of justice swings, not toward people, but toward the spirits that manipulated them. The spirits of sabotage, of confusion, of delay, of betrayal. They are being judged. And the judgment is this: release what you held. Return what you've taken. Reverse what you tried to curse. Your name is being cleansed in the Spirit. Your reputation is being restored by the hand of God. Not because you forced it, but because you trusted him when you had every reason to walk away. And now, the courtroom of heaven is in session. Witnesses are being summoned. Evidence is being revealed. The gavel is coming down, and the verdict is favored, chosen, vindicated, awarded. So do not weep any longer for what they did. Do not mourn the closed doors, the broken friendships, the lost seasons. You are not stuck in the pain of the past. You are stepping into a reversal so radical that even you will ask, God, how did you do it so fast? And the answer will be this: because I am the Lord, and I saw everything. This is divine justice. This is divine recompense. This is the reward of those who endure without retaliation. And now, you will walk with your head held high, not in arrogance, but in anointing. Not because you fought, but because heaven fought for you. Type the verdict as victory in the comments if you receive this reversal over your life. Blessing code 2121 is now releasing justice from the courts of heaven into your situation. Now breathe. Yes, breathe. Let your soul exhale every weight it's carried, every question it's repeated, every fear it's nursed in the silence. Let it all fall now, because the battle is no longer yours. The judgment hath been rendered. Your reversal has been released. The message has been delivered. And this time, you didn't walk away. This time, you listened. This time, you leaned in. And because you stayed long enough to hear the full word, heaven now moves with finality and force. I, Archangel Michael, speak this final declaration over your spirit. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. Not seen by man, not sealed by human approval, not sent by your own will, but seen by the Father, sealed by the Spirit, and sent by the authority of the Most High. You are not just rising. You are released. You are not just walking into blessing. You are stepping into assignment, covered in light, shielded in truth, and guided by divine fire. This was never about you being perfect. This was never about you having all the answers. This was about your heart, your posture, your surrender. And heaven has seen it clearly, deeply, eternally. You've been crying for help, but every time heaven answered, you let fear pull you away. You let past pain silence the present voice of God. But this time, this message, you didn't ignore it. You let it pierce. You let it uncover. You let it reveal. And because you stayed, because you didn't walk away again, everything changes now. This is not the end. This is the entrance. The confirmation is already being arranged. The door is already creaking open. The call is about to come. The shift is about to manifest. And when it does, don't shrink back. Don't second guess. Don't return to old cycles. You are ready. And you are not going alone. The armies of heaven walk with you. I walk with you. The same archangel who warred for Daniel, the same voice that thundered through battlefields of old, I have now been assigned to you. So walk forward, beloved. Walk with confidence. Walk with clarity. Walk with joy. The season of delay is broken. The spirit of confusion is shattered. The grip of fear has been burned away by holy fire. You are stepping into the fullness of the answer you've been crying for. Heaven did not forget you. Heaven has now released you. Now go. Don't turn back. Don't look around for validation. Don't question what you've heard. The instructions are clear. The time is now. The boy goes before you, and the gates will open because you have obeyed. Walk forward and heaven walks with you. Type "I am walking forward" in the comments if you receive this final release. Lesson code 0000 is now covering your steps and sealing your season. And now that you've received this word, don't let it stop with you. If this message broke chains, confirmed your prayers, or lifted the veil of confusion, then help someone else hear it too. When you give, whether through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or PayPal, you're not supporting a channel, you're planting seeds into eternity. This is spiritual ground. When you sow here, you're not giving to a screen, you're giving to a mission. A mission that brings fire to the weary, answers to the waiting, and clarity to the confused. The PayPal link is in the video description, and every offering is received not just by us, but by God. Isaiah 58:11 says, "You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail." That is what your giving activates. An endless spring of supernatural return. So give as the Spirit leads you. Sow into the fire. And know this, heaven will remember it, and heaven will multiply it. Woo prophetically. Your obedience writes someone else's miracle.